Hello and welcome to the TigrePup channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing with you the fact that I am a licensed cosmetology instructor in the state of Louisiana. However, I've never actually been an instructor, a cosmetology instructor in Louisiana. If this topic interests you, then please keep watching. Okay, so right now I want to discuss what made me want to become a cosmetology instructor. So let's begin. Uh, at this time, I was working at the JCPenney salon. I mentioned that in my previous video, and I was having difficult time getting, maintaining, and keeping clients. Like I said, a lot of my coworkers were still in the few that I had. I wasn't making very much money, and I remember back when I was attending beauty school, I had a teacher named Marcus, and he was a black male and he was doing his thing. He taught me a lot about color and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty amazing to see someone like myself, because typically they have a lot of white women that work in the beauty industry as far as like teaching and whatnot. And to see another black male dude, it was quite uplifting. So that's two reasons right there. The third is stability, because I'm working in an actual office setting, I guess you would have it. I don't have to hustle up and try to find clients and try to maintain relationships with them and try to get them to uh, have friends or family to come and for me to service them and whatnot. Okay. The third reason, or should I say the fourth reason? I can't remember which number. Helping others. I have the opportunity of helping others and gain a better understanding of what cosmetology is all about and whatnot. That's another reason that led me to want to become a cosmetology instructor. Okay, so when I after I decided to go to cosmetology instructor school, I had to decide which school I wanted to go to. My school actually offered it. However, it was attached to being an employee at the school, and I did not want that. And I felt like I really didn't have a chance. This particular school hired a lot of white women, and I didn't fit that curriculum. So I decided to try other places. I was able to find a school in Slidell that offered a part-time program, and it was like 6 months. And I thought, you know what, I can actually work, which I was working at JCPenney at the time, and go to school at the same time. So I think that would have been perfect. Okay. Okay, so some of the issues that we encountered when we were in school, there were three students, me, and there were two women. Each of us went to different schools. Uh, my school taught Milady, and apparently there's another program called Pivot Point, and the school we went to actually taught Pivot Point. It's two very different, well, they're not very different, but they're different programs that each school teaches as a part of their curriculum. And it kind of conflicted that we all went to different schools and different methods of teaching. So it was decided that we would have an administrator come, and we would practice in front of the administrator, and she would grade us and whatnot. And so that's what the plan was. And it was the first issue that we had when I was going to this school. Okay, so to further elaborate on the issues that I had while attending cosmetology instructor school, our administrator, she was tasked to do other duties, and I guess teaching us was a side gig or something, because we spent most of our time, quote unquote, shadowing, which I really, really dislike that term at this point, because I'm like, we were just being babysat by the other teachers. We were sitting in the class watching them. We didn't actually get a chance to actually do as many assignments or what have you, in order to learn a better hone in our craft of trying to instruct in front of a class of students and whatnot. Um, when we did get the opportunity, practice would consist of being assigned a concept pulled from our textbook and having to demonstrate the subject in front of the administrator and amongst one another, which is, again, three of us students. Okay. and we got critiqued. It was positive or negative, and they would make the instructor or administrator would make remarks and give us grades, you know, on how we did. Okay, and I would say about 95% of the time we did shadowing. The other 5% we did actual practical work. Okay, and two of the other students, they ended up leaving. I ended up staying because I had invested so much time, money, and energy into this project. I didn't quite want to give it up, even though it was going downhill and it was a pretty bad idea because we weren't really learning. And it was just pretty much taking our money. And I'm very frustrated now in hindsight. But I'll let you watch this video and you can see where, everything is going. Okay, so up next, I'm going to talk about the various places I scored an interview. Again, I've never actually worked as a cosmetology instructor. I've only got interviews, and I'd like to discuss that in this video, so please keep watching. Some of the jobs, this job I had was offered way in Shreveport. I'm thinking like the 4-hour drive. And the lady had me doing like 2 or 3 interviews or something like that. I have to drive all the way over there, to drive all the way back again, to drive all the way back over there again, and drive all the way back again. So the first interview, I'm going to explain that to you because that was interesting. So I drove all the way to the school. I can't remember the name right now, but I drove all the way to the school, 4-hour drive going over there on a twin bridge. And like it was suspended over like a large body of water with like, it was like maybe a swamp or something like that with trees and stuff like that. If I think of the name of this bridge, I'll let you know. Drove all the way over there, wasted my gas time, my energy, and putting extra miles on my vehicle. And we did the actual interview. Everything seemed like it was pretty good till I found out I had to come back again to do another interview. Now, she did say this was a practical interview. This was my first time getting an interview for the position of instructor, a cosmetology instructor. And my experience was pretty good for the first time, and she said it was going to be practical for the next one. Okay, so I came in for the second test. I drove all the way over there. Okay. Oh, before I begin with that, the first time I think I had like bright red hair because I was using the Manic Panic, I want to say Pillow Box Red. I would bleach my hair and use the Manic Panic Pillow Box Red, and so my hair was like a bright red, and I looked like Ronald McDonald's son. And I remember my first time going into the building. They had students on either side of they were all sitting in a hallway, and I had to walk in between them, which was very, very intimidating. And yeah. But anyway, now I'm on to the second interview. Okay, the second interview, I went there. I didn't know what to expect. I know she said a practical. I didn't know what she meant. I didn't think to ask. So I go there, and naturally she wants me to do the mannequins. Again, I've already told you in a previous video that I didn't do very good on the wetboard head with the pin curls and the spiral curl and the long stem because I kept bringing a small mannequin and I wasn't fast enough and all this other stuff. Well, anyway, she wanted me to do finger waves. Now, I can do finger waves on a mannequin that has actual perm in it to make it easier and that hard holding gel. Well, they didn't like the way it came out because this mannequin's hair, I don't know if you've ever had a mannequin and tried to do finger waves on it when their hair hasn't been permed. I know it's a bit of a cheat, but still, I'm being honest here. So when you do the finger waves, they're very large, and they kind of like not as crisp and tight as they would be if you were to have had used a permanent wave on a mannequin and then did the finger waves. Just my experience. Okay, they come out like big S's, and you barely can make the ridges. No, well, you can make the ridges, but the little creases crisp or whatever. Anyway, she didn't like it. And she said, well, there's something we're going to have to work at or something like that or whatever. So I go home, and as I'm going home, there's an accident with an 18-wheeler right behind me. No, it doesn't hit me, but it hits cars that are way in the back. Now, this is a 2-lane bridge. I'm in the right lane, and I'm looking in my rearview mirror because I'm not sure if I heard a sound or something like that. But and it was traffic on the way back too, and so luckily I didn't get rear-ended on my way back home. So once I did get home, the interviewer or whatever, she's yelling at me on the phone, what the hell did you think this was gonna, what did you think practical was gonna be, and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to bring a mannequin and all this other stuff. And you know, like I said, this was my first time actually having did an interview for a position of this type, right? So I didn't say anything. And when she sent over information or something for me to call her back or something to get the job, I was like, I'm not doing that. I wasn't going to do it, because I was like, if this is how you treat me and I don't even work for you, I can only imagine what you're going to do if I did work for you, okay? So eventually she sent me sorry, we can't, we're not interested in employing you at the time, whatever, okay? So the next place that I kind of gave, before I forget, I kind of gave up trying to find work in that particular cosmetology instructor field, because I couldn't find any work whatsoever. So I gave it up for a number of years. Now, my current job, I ended up trying to do it again, because I figured when I saw that they were offering $20 an hour, I was like, wow, I'm making much less than that doing what I'm here. And I went to school for that, so I should at least try again many years after the fact, right? So that's what I did. And what happened was I had 2 interviews. Now, the first one was in the East. This particular school was owned by a black woman, right? She probably still is, but I'm not going to say any names, okay? So I go to do the interview, and you know, I see the students or whatever, and it's a pretty small school. So I park, and then I go walk into the front and everything, and I mean, looks like a pretty good school or whatever. So she sees me in the front or in the lobby or whatever, and we take a tour, and she tells me all the great things about the school and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty nice and stuff like that. So we go to talking for the interview, and she asks some of the things. She asked me a bunch of questions, but the one that I remember was when she asked me, what do you do specifically? And I told her, you know, haircuts, color, basically stuff like that. And she's like, well, that's not all we do here. And the whole time she's very stony faced and deadpan and just staring at you like I'm not sure, but, and I'm trying to, you know, well, sell myself really. And basically I was told I could come back and shadow, because she wasn't sure, or she doesn't think I'm ready to be an instructor, stuff like that, and that I was too meek. And that kind of like threw me for a loop, because like, am I registering to be a warden or a guard at a prison? What does meekness have to do with training or teaching somebody information that they're going to need in order to pass the state board, right? So with that having been said, when she told me that I'd have to come back and shadow her while she teaches a class, I was like, I'm not going to do that all over again. That I need to watch you work, and there's no guarantee that I'm going to get the job, okay? I'm just going to sit there and watch you lecture, what have you, and for free. I wasn't interested in doing anything like that, okay? So that's the second instructor position that I applied for, cosmetology instructor position I applied for, okay? So This was a Paul Mitchell based program, which is, to remind you, that's where the school that I had initially went to and I got my crappy education from. This was their school, right? So I go to do the interview, whatever, and the lady, she was really nice and helpful and everything. I'm not sure, I couldn't read if she was interested in me or not, but I still, However, the instructor or the administrator who taught me, well, we had who would grade us on presentation and stuff like that, she actually came into the room. Now, she came into the room, she was pissed off with me. If anybody should be pissed off, it should be me, because I just now took out a loan to get garbage education, because we didn't do any, because the only time we did the practice is when she was available. Mind you, her job is to do something else, right? And then we would be babysat by the teachers in these classes by shadowing. You know what I'm saying? It was just a waste of education. That money could have been used to purchase a new vehicle, honestly, or I could have used that towards the purchase of tuition at a school and gotten better results, and I probably would have had a job, right? So she comes in the room and we got to talking and whatever, and I'm like happy to see her or whatever, and she's pretty dull, and like I did her something. No, you've actually done me something, because you and that your establishment pretty much like y'all stole. I feel like they stole from me, honestly. And if I could get my money back and they could take that license back, I would do that in a heartbeat. But to roll it back a bit, there was a school, I forget where it was, but I don't believe it's no longer in service, where they, in Amityville or something like that, they sent me a letter, and I believe it was sent because she had recommended it, the school. This is just me thinking out aloud. I don't know this for sure, but maybe that's the reason why she was mad, because I didn't accept it. Because why would I drive all the way to Amityville? I don't know anything about Amityville. And on top of that, side note, all of the things that are happening, the black folks going into these sundown towns, I wasn't even sure about that. I actually looked it up to see the population of black people that lived in that area, and I don't know, I just wasn't happy with what I saw, because it was so far away. I don't remember thinking of anything bad about it. It's just, the distance. It was mostly the issue. And then the fear of the unknown, of going into an area and you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I don't know if that's sundown or not. I'm definitely not trying to be, one of those lost and missing people that go into these towns and are never heard of again. Or if they are, they pick up their corpses and people are like, well, we don't know what happened, and stuff like that. So I was thinking about that. I absolutely was not going to sign up for that, because I wanted something near to the place where I live, right? Why do I want to waste my gas and energy and everything to drive to a job that's over an hour or something away? No, not want to do that. And then when you start off, what I heard, because they never told me prices, but they're going to give you the low rate wage when you're first starting until you get experience. So yeah, no. So when I had the interview with this administrator, she was pissed off with me, or she gave the impression, the facial impression, that she wasn't too happy with whatever, or she was just having a bad day. And ultimately, no, I did not get the job. So, like I said, I've had that license for a number of years. Honestly, I couldn't say that it benefited me doing my YouTube channel, because like I said, I didn't really get much of an education. I'm pretty sure,
they structured the lesson plan is what they would call it and stuff like that. Honestly, like I said, we didn't get a chance to stand in front of a group of students or anything like that. Honestly, I felt like I didn't get a very good education. I felt like I wasted my time and money, and I ended up losing a car in the process. So yeah, that was that. When I did the interview with her, like I said, I didn't get the job. So yeah, I'm just sitting on a license. I pay it every year, and it's not very much money. It's like $25. So I pay about $50. One for my cosmetology license and one for my cosmetology instructor license. And it's not active, because you have inactive and active, and you have to attend so many hours in I don't know what they call it, but some kind of program to kind of like refresh the teachers so that they could be eligible. I mean, but you only would need to do that if you actually work in that place. I don't work at a place, so it's no need for me to waste my money to go and do anything like that, because it's like a renewal. You have to do it every year. Well, here in Louisiana, I haven't done it once because I don't have a job in that field. You know what I'm saying? So what's the point of me going and getting that done and wasting my money paying for that if I'm not going to even find work again? There's only so many schools, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that explains why I am not working as a cosmetology instructor, even though I have a current and valid cosmetology instructor license.
Okay, so I thought that was the end, but apparently it's not. I decided to give the Louisiana Board of Cosmetology a call and try to figure out why exactly does my license say void. I'm speaking in particular my cosmetology instructor license, not my regular basic license. Okay, so right here I'm just showing you an arrow pointing to my regular cosmetology license. There's a little area right here where you pull off the little tab, and I laminate it, and we have to renew it every year. Yeah. Okay, and so right here, where the arrow is showing is actually my cosmetology instructor license, and as you can see, with a little area where it has where you have to where you can remove the little tab at the bottom, and you would laminate that, and you can keep it in your wallet or purse or what have you. Apparently, mine says void, and something had told me to give them a call. Well, actually, doing this video made me give them a call and try to figure out why exactly it says void. And I'm saying I have to find out exactly why it says void, because um, well, after this phone call, I found out that the true reason, which is what I'm going to get into before I close out this video. So stay tuned. Okay, so while I was doing my research, I found out our license renewal is going to go up. We used to pay 25, now it's going to be 35. So normally I would pay 50 a year, now it's going to be 75, because again, I have my cosmetology instructor license in addition to my regular basic cosmetology license. Okay, so right here I'm just showing you continuing education requirement. This is for my cosmetology instructor license, not for my regular cosmetology basic license. It's saying on here every 2 years, but when I called the guy, he said we have to do this every year. Okay, so I'm just showing you the requirement for how many continuing education hours that you have to get to qualify for that voided section to be removed off of my license. Okay. And I'm not exactly sure what I said before, but the reason why I thought they were saying voided was because I didn't have a job as a cosmetology instructor. And it wasn't until I called Louisiana State Board that I discovered that it was in fact because I didn't have the continuing education credits, as you can see here. Okay, so right here I'm just showing you that Louisiana has an online course and an actual physical course where you have to physically go in. I'm going to talk about that later, but right now I'm going to focus on the online course. As we can see here, Louisiana only approves the online course from Milady, Centric, or whatever it's called. And I'm going to give you some details about that. Apparently, I wasn't aware of all of these changes. As you can see, these are all in 2024 and 2025. I think I got my license in like 2009 or something. I can't remember, but it's been quite a while. So we're going to take a look at the Milady website at, as you can see, the website address right there, and see what they're offering. Okay. Okay, so right here, I'm just taking a look at the Milady centric website. I'm going to click the link for continuing education, and we're going to continue from there. Okay, so as we can see on the Milady Training Centric Master Educator Certification, each of these classes, as you can see, I'm going to click on a couple of them, is $40.95 each, and each class is only worth 3 hours of completion. Okay, now if I'm reading this correct, I'm going to need 16 hours. Okay, so if you add that up, I mean, I have to do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So that's 6 classes, and that's to get 18 hours, because you can't get 3 times 5 is 15. You're going to be one short because I need to make 16. Does that make sense? And that's at $40.95 each class. So yeah, I'm looking at about like $245.70 in order to get myself into proper order, I guess, or whatever. So yeah. Okay, so here's the second option here. This is the actual, you actually go in a physical classroom. It's called the Louisiana Beauticians and Barber Association. Every year they hold an annual continuing education program for cosmetology instructors, apparently. I have been getting mail from them. Honestly, I didn't know what it was from, but it's very short amount of time before you can respond. I think I have like maybe a couple of weeks by the time I get the mail, but it doesn't matter. Honestly, when I first started getting mail from them, honestly, I didn't know what the hell this was all about. And I didn't know that this was a necessary ingredient in order for me to make my cosmetology instructor license valid, even though I went to school for it anyway. So apparently this is like a membership organization, and once you sign up, they do have benefits and whatnot. But I think they offer the cosmetology instructor continuing education program by itself, which is in Iberville, Louisiana. So I'd have to make a trip there, and it's like 2 days, from what I recall, that you're going to spend over there taking the classes. They offer a meal and whatnot. Yeah, I thought this was going to be like my basic cosmetology license. I got my license, I'm good. No, apparently not. But anyway, here is their Facebook account. There's no TikTok. There's no Instagram or any other option. There's no YouTube channel. It's all on Facebook. Okay, so yeah, I'm just showing you what the website, I'm sorry, Facebook is looking like. And if I remember correctly, this option is cheaper than the Milady Centric online. Okay, so here is the first page of the letter I sent. I know it's old, it's 2024, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what I've been receiving. And if you can see at the very top, it says this is located on 707 East 1st Street, New Iberia, Louisiana. And the phone number is 337-321-2049. Nobody ever answers the phone, ever. So I just recently left a message. I have to let you know how that turns out. As you can see, the email is such and such and such and such. Okay, continuing on. Okay, right here, this page is the syllabus. You can check that out. Now moving on to the next portion, or the next letter. Okay, so here's the next page. It's the actual registration information page, and you have to mail this in. Or you can do Cash App or Zelle. As you can see, price in 2024 is $165. I don't think that includes the room rates. And then you still got to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, moving on. Okay, so now this is another outline of the syllabus, things you're going to be learning and stuff like that. in what order, the class, the times, all that stuff. I may have these pages out of order. I'm not sure because they're not numbered. Okay, and you have a special diet. You can see it's 2 days. What I could see, Sunday and a Monday. Yeah. So yeah, this is what I've been getting, and honestly, I've been just like not paying this stuff attention because I didn't know I actually needed to pay attention. Okay. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm even made this video. Honestly, this is a build up to this is an essential part of why I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently, and I'm just letting my audience know where I'm coming from and why I'm making the moves that I'm making. So this is kind of like leading the path so that people can be aware of what's going on and what's going to be coming up next. Okay, so as for renewing my cosmetology instructor license, I'm still in debate on whether or not I want to. Now that I found out this information, I'm not going to totally not pay it at all. But you know, I may make an effort to update things. I wasn't able to find work before, so I don't understand what might be different now than it was then. Okay, but yeah, I think I will keep my license as of right now. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going with that. Okay, so I'm thinking a lot of people are going to be like, "Well, damn, why would you wait so long to pay off your loan?" It's not an issue of waiting to pay it off. It's that, like I said, a lot of the jobs I've been having have been very low wages, and it's been difficult to actually pay all of my bills and save some money for other things and be able to buy things for my YouTube channel. I mean, basically, I've been making the minimum payment, and with the interest, it just eats that stuff up. I'm just juggling. But yeah, I'm doing the very best that I can. Hopefully, this year I can start knocking it down. But we'll see how all of this turns out. Okay. Okay, so this concludes my video on how I've held a cosmetology license for 15 years and never have I ever worked as a cosmetology instructor. So hopefully that clears things up, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.